Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Wednesday, June 7th.
There's kind of a conspiracy theory, but in the end, it's the same account that the superintendent of schools set up back in 2005.
That's Cheryl Tristram, Executive Director of the Flagler Youth Orchestra, reacting to the FYO's finances being scrutinized by the Flagler County School Board. The program has not been audited for 18 years. It should be audited annually. Staff cited confusion over the program's status as an internal account. At yesterday's workshop, School Board member Will Furry, whose questions led to the discovery of the bookkeeping error, explains why he believes the investigation should go beyond an audit.
The way it looks to me as a separate entity, Cheryl Tristram is sole proprietorship. That's how this would look, because they're raising the money. This is how I see it. If this is totally legit, then let's keep running with it, right? But I think in light of all this, I would suggest that we have an outside counsel to review the structure of this and to be certain that we are in compliance with both corporate structure and tax law.
Cheryl Tristram is the Executive Director of the Flagler Youth Orchestra and the wife of Flagler Live editor Pierre Tristram.
I think the folks that would enjoy to see Pierre discredited have asked what kind of an account the FYO has, and I think that they were given the wrong information. I think they were told that we were a separate entity, we were a separate nonprofit, or we were a separate corporation. And so if you believe that because someone's told you that from the school district, then you go out and you don't see this listed in Sunbiz. You don't see this listed as a charitable organization with the state. And so now it's like, haha, it's kind of a gotcha response that, there's wrongdoing going on. But the wrongdoing, or what was wrong about it, is that they were given the wrong information to begin with. The request for oversight of the account, for there to be an auditing process, is a completely reasonable request without question. But what bothered me about today was just the appearance that they're just assuming that wrongdoing has occurred.
Tristram finds herself uncertain about her future within the district.
I don't know how I go forward doing this in the future. I mean, I've been very lucky for 16 years to work with administrators and board members that were incredibly professional. And my husband has been the editor of Flagler Live for a long time, and he's written about administrators and board members in the past, and I never had those board members ever make me feel like they would retaliate or that they didn't appreciate what I was doing. I felt like I was being judged just on what I was able to accomplish with this program. I don't know. I don't, it's a different environment.
The results of the audit are expected later this month or early July. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you. A toxic blue-green algae bloom is found north of Bull Creek Campground, and you're urged to use caution.
Flagler County Environmental Health Director John Bay says this so-called blue-green algae is not the same as regular algae.
It is a little confusing when dealing with blue-green algae simply because even though we call it algae or an algal bloom, blue-green algae is actually what's called cyanobacteria. So it's essentially photosynthetic bacteria. So it behaves and looks like algae, but it's technically a bacteria.
The blooms can be harmful to both humans and animals.
Blooms can take the form of scum, muck, slime on the surface water. It can vary in color, from greenish yellow, orange, brown. So if you see anything like that floating on top of the water, avoid ingestion and certainly avoid contact with the water.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, if you're exposed to blue-green algae, remove contaminated clothing and jewelry, then wash the affected area for 10 to 15 minutes. Seek medical care if you drink or inhale the blooms. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Rich Petchke.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.